Ahoy! This is Stock Pirate X. This video isn't any sort of technical analysis on the HUMBL stock. This video is about the incredible story of how this company came to be. So there's tons of videos out there that do a deep analysis on this stock, but that's just not what I'm here to do. Personally, I got in this stock back in November 2020. I think it was an Alex DeLarge tweet. He was like, hey, buy this stock, it's going to the moon. And me being the cautious investor I am, was like, okay, and I've been in it ever since. So chances are, if you invest in the OTC, you've probably at least heard of HUMBL. It's that fintech startup that's looking to be a competitor to names like PayPal, Cash App, and Alipay. But we all know that HUMBL is a ways away from really competing with any of them, but the company has been making solid progress lately, and it's definitely a stock you want to keep your eyes on for the future. So what is HUMBL?
So HUMBL is a Web3 platform.
So that handsome fellow on the top right is Brian Foote. We'll get to him later. He's describing HUMBL as a Web3 platform, which he goes on to explain what that means with a bunch of big words, but in a nutshell, it means that this company is next level technology-wise, using tech like blockchain to make products that seamlessly connect creators, consumers, and merchants from all corners of the world in the digital economy. So HUMBL is predominantly split up into three different ways. There's HUMBL Marketplace, HUMBL Financial, and HUMBL Pay. So HUMBL Marketplace is an online store kind of like Amazon where you can buy a bunch of different products from merchants all over the world. There's not a whole lot there now, but they're building it out, and I'm sure we'll see definitely some progress there in the near future. You'll also eventually be able to buy origin-assured products authenticated using blockchain, and hopefully soon NFT assets, which are pretty hip right now. You can also buy HUMBL merch, which is kind of cool. You don't really see that with OTC stocks too often. So there's HUMBL Financial. So this is an investing product where you can essentially buy baskets of digital currencies, kind of like a ETF. Some baskets are actively managed, meaning that a bot buys and sells the currencies for you, and others are less actively managed, but occasionally restructure themselves based on fluctuations in the market. So it's just a good way to cast a wide net and reduce risk. So there's also HUMBL Pay. I see this as HUMBL's bread and butter. So this is a service kind of like Venmo or Cash App where you can send money to your friend for the beers he paid for over the weekend, or pay a merchant at some store or whatever. The cool thing that separates HUMBL from the pack is that they're proposing to be borderless, meaning you can send and spend anywhere in the world without all the crazy fees and processing time that you typically have with a wire transfer or currency exchange. So anyway, let's get to the story. HUMBL as we know it today was started by former UCLA All-American soccer player Brian Foote, MIT graduate, blockchain guru, strong jawline, everything you'd look for in a great CEO. The seeds for HUMBL were planted back in 2000 during a soccer tournament he was playing in Brazil. Brian's team had made it all the way to the finals, and they were up against an elite team from Dagestan, Russia. So fast forward to the last 2 minutes of the game, it's 2-2, tied game, total fucking barn burner. The Dagestani midfielder Artem Gatsimudov was making his way towards the net. While Brian was watching Gatsimudov barrel in, he starts hearing his coach yelling, break his leg, break his leg. Brian knew he had no other choice, so he ran straight into Artem, ran straight into his leg. It was a complete compound fracture. It was so broken that his leg was only holding on by a single ligament, and they had to cut his leg off on the field. What Brian didn't know is that 3/4 of the population of Dagestan was in the crowd, and they were not happy. He tried begging them for forgiveness, but that didn't work. They started storming the field. So Brian, who still to this day runs a 4-second 40-yard dash, quickly escaped through an underground tunnel using transport teams and commandeered a tuk-tuk and made his escape into the Amazon. While being chased by angry Russians, a tournament attendee jumped into the tuk-tuk to escape the mob. Little did Brian know, this man would go on to be his best friend in the whole world. George was his name. For the next 7 days, they'd drive deeper and deeper, day and night, through unforgiving terrain, further into the Amazon to find safety. Along their route, they earned the respect of the natives, who would eventually turn into their family. For the next 19 years, Brian and George would live amongst the natives, learning their language, eating their food, becoming one with their culture. Through this experience, Brian learned firsthand the challenges of underdeveloped communities. he swore an oath that one day he would return to America to bring prosperity and hope to the people of the Amazon. So 19 years was a long time for them to be away from their friends and family, who more than likely believed they were still held prisoner by the Dagestanis, or even worse, dead. They realized their time to depart was upon them. Before leaving, an elder encouraged Brian and George to go pay a visit to a mysterious shaman living at the base of the Pico de Neblina. It was said the shaman was a wealth of knowledge and would give them guidance on their long-term journey. They hopped in their tuk-tuk and started a 3-day journey to go see the shaman. The wise and mysterious shaman's name? Pappus Humblus. Pappus Humblus prepared a Cobb salad containing 16 grams of psilocybin mushrooms. After eating, they laid down and gazed at the stars as the universe enveloped them. Under the mushroom spell, Brian reflected on his 19-year journey in the Amazon and the people that he grew to love. He realized his one true purpose was to create a connected digital economy for the Amazon and for all underdeveloped communities across the globe, to create a borderless world. And all his answers lied in the blockchain. Brian and George would return to America, where they would start HUMBL in San Diego, California, named after the great Amazonian shaman. And just like that, a borderless world was created. So George somehow knew a guy named Bud who had a publicly traded flooring company called Tesoro Enterprises. A deal was made for Tesoro to reverse merger with HUMBL, which would instantly make HUMBL a publicly traded company on the OTC. And well, that's the story of HUMBL. Pretty crazy, huh? Do your own research, of course. There's a lot of interesting stuff about this company that I didn't cover, so definitely make sure to check out all the other YouTube videos out there that are infinitely more informative than mine. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to let me know in the comments and share it with your friends, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, all that shit. I'm also on Twitter at StockPirateX, so make sure to come by, say hi. Have a good day. I love you.